Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to Room for Sunshine, to our sunset chats. It's a rainy evening here in Bali, which is perfect because this Thursday we are feeling the feels. We are diving into the heart, into emotion. So I will kick off tonight by asking, how are you feeling this evening? And welcome back to Room for Sunshine. So, first of all, if you've been listening this week, thanks for tuning back in. If you are just joining us now, welcome. I was scootering back from dinner this evening, thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to talk about this week? And when I was preparing this podcast, I spent so much time brainstorming ideas. I was like, this is going to lead right into this, and this is genius. I've got it down. And then as I was scootering, I was like, the odds that what is most alive and most present in my life today resonate with somebody who happens to tune into this podcast, whether it be because of astrology or vibrational energy or just gut instinct, is higher than whatever I assumed I would be talking about 4 months ago. So we're going rogue, we're going authentic, we're going with the truth, which is this week has been a really emotional week for me. And I'll start by saying the reason I'm about to tell you and this story is because Room for Sunshine is not a podcast about toxic positivity. I lean optimistic. I lean glass half full, sunshine rainbows, skipping in the rain, sing songs, musical, I lean that way. And even still, I know and I really truly understand that joy and sadness are twin siblings. You need to, in my opinion, understand and get to know sadness in order to really get to experience the heights and the depths of joy. And that's true for anything, for grief and love and connection and heartbreak. All of these things, the more we dive into both sides of that potential coin, the more we really understand how these emotions live and manifest in ourselves, in our lives. So here we are. 2 nights ago, I got very sad. I got very triggered by something that happened to me, and it was like a ton of bricks straight into the heart. I got so painfully sad. And as soon as that sadness came on, literally boom, click, hits the heart, I reach for my phone. And I am calling my best friend to vent about this thing that happened. I cannot believe it. And I look and I'm like, okay, 1, it's 2:30 in the morning where she is. Second of all, she's on vacation. So I decide, as much as I love to pull the wake up in the middle of the night to help me out card, my friend needs that vacation and it's 2:30 in the morning. This is not a life or death situation. This is sadness that we are talking about. So as I'm like, okay, can't call my friend and vent, boom, next avoidance strategy pops in. I'm like, I want a big glass of wine. I don't keep wine in my apartment here. So in order to receive that glass of wine, I would need to go onto what we call Gojek, which is the Uber Eats app, and order wine. And that is too confrontational for me. The act of opening up my phone, ordering the bottle, and paying a man in rupiah for the bottle of wine was I can't do it. So then the next thing, immediately, as these things are just boom, 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 popping up, I'm putting in my AirPods, throwing on Kid Cudi, and driving into the night. And who cares where I wind up? I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna escape. And then I was like, well, you teach yoga at 7 in the morning, an hour away tomorrow. So no, that's not a good plan. And then as that's leaving, I'm like, you know what? Dark chocolate and Love Actually has always cured things for me in my life. At least in college, that was the remedy. So let's go back to being 18. Let's romanticize over Hugh Grant. And I look in my freezer, no chocolate, open my computer instead. So, as I am confronted with all of these things that are not working, I am faced with something that I preach as a yoga teacher on a daily basis, which is becoming present with what is. And I tell people this literally every day. I'm like, acknowledge what you're feeling, see it, be with it. You don't need to do anything about it. And all of a sudden, it clicked, and I realized, oh, yeah, I need to just be with this sadness. And even as somebody who has a meditation practice, even as somebody who teaches yoga, I am still here avoiding this pain in any way possible. Literally, like, you name it, my brain is just going there. And it's because society has conditioned us to believe that pain is bad and that we need to cover or protect or hide from what we're feeling with external substances, experiences, language. So I just sat with my sadness for a while, and I cried, and I finally got into bed, and I was like, perfect. I cried. I'm gonna sleep it off. I'll be fresh tomorrow. No. Wake up the next day feeling even sadder. I mean, we're talking, this sadness is just really like someone is opening up the portals of the heart, digging the shovel in deep into the wounds. And I was emotional all day yesterday. I am crying constantly. And I was faced with some really good medicine, which is normally in my yoga classes, I'm always like, just be present, just be with it, feel it all the way. And there I am taking someone else's yoga class and crying, and they're like, yep, feel it. And I was like, shut up. I don't want to feel this anymore. The reason I am sharing this story, thank you, by the way, for letting me share this story, but the reason I'm sharing this is because after all of that, I went and I had a moment to sit outside by myself, and I finally realized that we as humans don't do this enough. We don't just sit in stillness with our emotions nearly as much as we should be. And I'm not just talking about the sad and dark emotions. We don't sit with the great, beautiful, bright emotions either. We're always chasing or reflecting or analyzing or trying to hold on to something so tight that we miss presence. Now, I was in a really lucky situation. I was able to take time yesterday to just sit and be with it. Naturally, many people have jobs and they have to go into offices and do things where they can't just go to yoga and then sit in a hammock. However, I do know and believe in my heart that we can all find more time and space to feel emotions. So first and foremost, I ask you again, this Thursday evening, how are you feeling? I'm not asking like, how are you doing? I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good. I'm asking you to go a little deeper into your feeling essence and check in with yourself and be like, what are the emotions that are alive right now? And once you've identified what they are, whether they are like peak elation, sensuality, connection, or grief, confusion, depletion, can you give yourself 5 minutes this evening just to be in that emotion? And as you answer that question, as you do that work, I want to remind you that Room for Sunshine is not just a podcast. Room for Sunshine is a community. It is a place where together we support one another in doing the work, because that is how we grow as individuals, and that is how we grow as a collective. That is how we bring more meaning and love into our lives and our friendships and our different dynamics and these life experiences that we live. So tonight's homework, if we are to label it as such, is to spend 5 minutes just being with you. And it might be really hard, it might be really painful, or it might be easy for you. And there's no right or wrong, but it's the exercise of, as we slow down, as we wind down from our week, can we take an opportunity just to be? So that is it for our sunset chat this evening. I hope that whatever you are feeling, you take the time just to be with it, to be with yourself, to honor yourself for taking those 5 minutes if you take them. And I will see you back here bright and early Monday morning for a fresh sunrise chat. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for tuning in to Room for Sunshine.